Good evening, everybody. How are we all going? How exciting is this to get out? It's a little bit exciting, isn't it? I feel like it's been, yeah, exactly, without a mask as well. It's been 6 months since I last got out and spoke to people, so let's see what happens tonight, everyone. So I'm Melanie Woods. I'm the founder and owner of my business, Speaking Styles, and I help business owners to be able to gain more clarity and confidence so that you can talk about who you are, what you do, and how you help people, and to be able to do that as your authentic self. How many people in here would love to be able to have more confidence and clarity speaking about themselves in a business? Let me know. Hands up. And who would love to be able to do that as their authentic self, to embrace fully all your quirks and flaws and all of these things? Who would love to be able to do that? Excellent, excellent. So these are some things I'm going to share with everybody tonight as well. So one of the things that I really absolutely live and breathe by to what I teach my clients and teach my group programs that I deliver is that you cannot delegate communication. And what I mean by that is that more in what we're going to talk about tonight, but it's more around not hiding behind your profiles, not hiding behind your emails, not hiding behind your text, is actually to go out there and speak in public to people every single day. And that's exactly how you can then grow confidence and clarity, as well as some things that I will be able to take you through tonight as well. But out of tonight, I really want you to take home that tagline of every time you go to do something you avoid having that conversation with people, is always think about, that Scottish lady on that night said I can't delegate that. I have to be able to do that for myself. All right? So just to share with you as well, these are some things that I do teach people. I'm only going to be able to share a little bit tonight in the time that we have. So what I do in terms of my communication community that I have is that we look at confidence, because I see it as that's the foundation of communication. For everything that you do in your business, is confidence is first, and that's what I'm going to teach you tonight. And I will touch a little bit on clarity as well. And then it goes to speaking, because we need to communicate and we need to speak to people. And then it goes to respect and setting boundaries, because I'm a big believer on having the confidence, having clarity, being able to communicate. You also, as a business owner, want to be able to command respect with your clients and your customers, maybe your team, and also set boundaries with that. So these are some areas that I do work with people on, and particularly if you're a business owner with teams, then that's another area that I help people on as well, massively. But tonight I'm going to touch on confidence and clarity around that to help you in terms of what you do in the sales department. So butterflies have always been my thing, and from the beginning of my business, my logo is a butterfly, as you'll see down on the bottom there. And the way that I see it is that teaching people and helping people to have confidence and clarity around communicating and public speaking is transformation. So in terms of when I work with people, whether it's one-on-one or within groups or in my community, it's about transformation. So it's taking people from being that caterpillar, going to the cocoon, to then becoming that butterfly, and really shining, being seen and heard as your authentic self, because a butterfly doesn't care what it looks like. It just goes on and like floats around, and it's pretty amazing. But it's really about transformation. And I will touch on Matthew up the back. Matthew did one of my programs at the beginning of the year, and if you've seen his article, that's transformation for what Matthew achieved in working with me and within that group. And that's what I live and breathe by, is it's all about transformation. But it's also the fact that the type of work that I teach is that it's a marathon, not a sprint. It's not looking for overnight to be able to get up the next day and be able to absolutely nail the way in which you communicate about your business, to sell it, to maybe get up and do something like this. It's a marathon. We're constantly evolving, we're constantly growing, and communication is a skill. It's a skill that I still learn. It's not something that you arrive. We're constantly evolving as well. So it becomes this cycle of getting to the butterfly, we come back to the caterpillar. depending on what you're doing and when you're going to the next level as well. Thanks very much. I'll pay you later. Thanks for that. So the first C in which I like to be able to teach people, as I said before, is confidence. But it's really about your mindset. Massively, it's a mindset change. And what I would love to share with you, because we're going to be talking about sales tonight as well, how many people would love to have a little bit more confidence around selling their business and selling their services and products as well? Of course. Because you all like to make a little bit more money, right? So with the mindset, I want to share, if that's okay, to share a story of myself a couple of years ago, and it really leads into the sales element of what's happening tonight, but just in terms of business. Would that be okay for me to share that with you? So 2 years ago, I came down from central Queensland to move to Brisbane, and I built my business up in central Queensland. And massively, I relied on word of mouth and also through my website with Google Ads. I never had to sell my business, never. So the reason why I want to share this with you as well is that we never want to rely on one type of platform or one type of area that we use to sell our business. Because as I get into my story, it will all become apparent too, please don't do that. So when I moved to Brisbane, and I had big dreams of moving to Brisbane, moving to the big city and evolving my business and having all of these things that I was doing up in central Queensland, and all came crashing down. And I had no idea. I was not prepared for it because I had relied so heavily on word of mouth and relied on my Google Ads working for me. But I didn't have an audience in Brisbane. I didn't have a following in Brisbane. So basically within 3 months, my whole life came crashing down round about me. My business fell down, my relationship and my health. And I was in a very dark place 2 years ago. And one of the things that made me realize is that the skill that I didn't have in my business, because I had the value, I had myself, I didn't have the sales skills. And that massively was an eye-opener for me to then understand that I needed the sales because I couldn't rely on what I relied on before. And in that moment, I really was not even able to find money to pay for rent. I was trying to find clients and really, doing a lot of these things and coming to speaking to get known, find more people and do all of that. But then I just wasn't able to get people over the line because I didn't know how to sell. And I then was able to find someone, and I was fortunate enough to be gifted a full-day workshop on sales, free of charge, and it changed my life. And from that moment on, I was able to get one client, and then I was able to pay my rent, but the debt was mounting, absolutely. And I didn't have family in Australia. I come from the UK. I didn't have family to say, hey, tap on the door and get a bed for the night. And in that moment, I knew that I had to do something different. And I actually went home for 2 months. It was my only avenue to be able to take a bit of relief from what was happening, but also to be able to use my new skill of selling. And I went home for 2 months. And in that 2 months, I literally got on a plane back to Australia and I'd paid off all of my debt. And I had used that sales skills for 2 months. And from that moment on, my business has evolved and grown exponentially and through a global pandemic. Because I grew the skills needed to sell, but I also grew my confidence and I changed my mindset. I changed my mindset to say what was working was not working and I needed to change. So it's looking at other areas that you can tap into. What other areas do you need to build your skills on to be able to help you and help your confidence in that as well? So I hope that story has been helpful to really share that with you, and also to share that journey is that we're all in business and we all have times where we have those dark moments. I'm sure I'm not alone in this room where people have had these dark moments, and to share that human element. We're saying to Eleanor tonight, when you ask somebody, are you okay? And we all go, yeah, I'm good. And then you're like, no, I'm actually not. I'm actually having a really crap day, right? We want to bring that human element to it. So I want you to really think about your mindset. And in the worksheets, I really want to tap into the confidence part of things is that the first question is how confident are you to share your authentic self out of 10? And I really want you to think about what you, again, this is your own perspective of whether or not you do with your own authentic self. I thought I did. Like way back in the day, I thought I was super authentic, and I was like, I'm really not. I wasn't at the time. Whereas now it's really thinking about maybe your imperfections, your flaws, like your quirks, all of these things that you maybe keep hidden to like your friends. But then when you're out in business, you're like, oh, I'm not showing that. Like, they don't need to see that. They might think I'm a little bit weird. So I really want you to think about, out of 10, is how confident are you to share those things? If you were up here and you went blank, how would you deal with that? Would you say, you know, I've just lost the word right now, I'll go and move on to something else? Or would you try and be able to fix it? So I really want you to think of all of the times that when you're communicating and things that you might be able to think about doing something else instead of saying, I don't actually have the answer to that, and then try not fix it. So I want you to really think about that. And then tonight, you're going to be able to see a little bit more of my own types of authenticity, my own quirks and things that I find funny. So these are things that I want to share with you. So out of 10, where would you see your confidence is in your authentic self? And then have a think in 6 to 12 months, like where do you want to see yourself out of 10? To fully embrace all of those things about yourself. And even in the back, you can always do this later, but thinking of like listing out what your authentic self is. Like, what's the things that you love to do in life? Do you share those things? Like, I love meditation, yoga. I'm super into spirituality and astrology. I love talking about these things. I absolutely have plants in my place and I dote on them. I do video content and I talk to my plants in my videos. I absolutely love them and I talk to my plants all the time, right? I live by myself as well, so my plants, yeah. So it's thinking of those things that are your authentic self that you would do maybe by yourself, but would you maybe do it if you were speaking to people? So writing a list of things that you love to be involved in life with, these are things you want to bring into your communication, bringing into your sales, because remember, people buy into you, they're not buying your products and services. So by sharing more of you, you start to actually align with the ideal people you actually want to work with. So that's part of how that brings that confidence into it as well. I never used to share anything like this when I used to present. Coming out as a manager into a business, I was like suited up, just like, oh, we're going to keep really professional and not make humor and not do all of these things on my presentations. And then I was like, I don't even know who I am because I was being somebody that I wasn't. And it's thinking about your identity. Big thing that and probably in the last 18 months, really realized that my identity was hidden behind my business, to the point where my business was my life and that was it. And I actually had to ask myself the question of, what does Melanie like to do outside of her business? And it's taken me a long time to figure that out again. And now I know, and now I live by it every single day. And I bring it into my presentations, I bring it into my sales calls, bring it into everything. And it makes such a difference because people really connect. So that's a little bit of homework for you to think about. And again, third question is what it would mean to you, and what would life and business look like for you to have more confidence, to bring in more about yourself, and bring in all of those, like going from perfection to imperfection. If anybody is in here, I can definitely be a little bit perfectionist. Anybody else? Anybody else? So that's really around building some of your confidence. And with that, if you do ever feel stressed, overwhelmed, anxious about speaking to people about your business, the more you can really embrace your authentic self, get involved in life and bring it into your business, your confidence will grow as well. Oh, I forgot that slide was there. going to say something before I let the cat out of the bag. So the next thing that I want to talk about, yes, as you'll see, Matthew's laughing at the back there because Baby Yoda comes out every week in my group program, doesn't he? Doesn't he, Matthew? When we talk about plan, you must. So the other question is to think about, which helps you with your confidence, is how do you plan and prepare to communicate about your business? Does anybody in here not do it? Raise your hands if you do a little bit of planning and preparing before you do any kind of sales calls, any kind of business things. How many of you do? Oh, well done, well done. You can be in my gang. Matthew's got his hand held up high because he knows. He knows. So my love is Baby Yoda. Baby Yoda comes out a lot in my presentations because I am so big on plan you must. So I live by, and my clients live by, plan and prepare. Plan, prepare, strategy is the three key things in which I live by and what I teach. So Baby Yoda comes out because, again, it's embracing my beams and gifts and things are mine. Think about what yours is. So Baby Yoda comes out to remind people of planning and preparing. So my other tag, hashtag, is no winging it. So that's another one that I want you to, after today, is that anytime you go to do something and you've left it last minute, I know people are laughing up the back, so we're just talking about it up the back there, and I said, wait till you hear my talk, is that anytime you turn up to anything and you haven't planned and prepared and it doesn't get the outcome that you wanted, come back to yourself and say, I winged that, and I really should have spent a bit more time planning and preparing. So I say, hashtag no winging it is what happens when I work with people. So if anybody ever comes back to me and says, I didn't get that sale, or I didn't get that gig, or I didn't really get that engagement from a video or something like that, I said, did you plan and prepare? No, I probably could have done a little bit better. I said, did you wing it? Yes. I say, well, Baby Yoda says you need to plan. So planning and preparing is so vital to your confidence, but particularly when it comes to sales, is planning and preparing. Finding out a little bit more about the other person so that you can bring those things in and really connect with that person. So the next one is clarity. So we want to be able to build confidence, but now we want to look at getting a bit more clear on who you are, what you do, and how you help people. And it will lead into the next speaker, so you don't have to do anything massively on this. Can I have a time, please, as well from the back? How long have I got?
5 minutes.
5? 5? 8? It's like trying to count fingers there. Numbers isn't my strong point. That's why I have a bookkeeper for those things. So we want to get clear on who you are. So these are things that I want you to think about, is that writing out in a few bullet points, because this will help you leading into the next session with the ladies at the back. Who are you? And I want you to think about your authentic self, like your personalities, your traits, your abilities, your skills, like everything that makes up you. That's who you are. So it's about bringing personal and professional together. The way I see it is that it's not separate, because you are you, whether in your business or whether you're in life. Yes, there's certain elements we have to bring in to do some serious stuff as well, right? Well, I mean, I love having fun, but there is still an element we want to bring in that's a little bit more serious as well. So I want you to think about who you are, bringing those things that you absolutely love to do. I mean, you're all on the Sunshine Coast. You know, who lives out at the beach? How many people live out at the beach? Anybody live at the beach? Or goes to the beach every day? Who lives near the hinterland? Who loves nature walks? Who surfs in here? Surfers. There's some surfers. I tried that. I did that about a month ago. I had a surf lesson. I stood up for the first time on a surfboard. I probably won't do it again, but I mean, it was good fun. I spent most of it underneath. It was yes. Stood up, that was it. So these are things you want to be able to bring in more about yourself. So who you are is personal and professional. So then you want to think about is that what does your business actually do? So thinking about we were talking about this when we checked in as well with Luke, and there was pens there, and we're talking about choice. And it's the more choices that you give people, the more that they're like, I don't know how to decide, that's way too many, right? So when we talk about what does your business do, it's like I talk about a shopping list. It's like, don't write a shopping list of all of these amazing things that you do, because people then go, oh, I don't know, you choose for me. So it's thinking about what does your business do, and it's thinking about who you're speaking to. So you know your own business. So when you're speaking to somebody, you know what's a fit for them as well. You don't have to leave it for them to decide. You can decide for them, because people like to be able to have direction as well. So thinking a little bit more about what your business does, and then to think about how do you help people. So as the beginning, I'm sharing with you around transformation. So I talk about transformation. That's how I help people, is to transform, but also through the confidence, the clarity, the communication side of things. So thinking more on not just putting it through services and products, being able to think about what's the kind of end result for people, and how does that relate back to you? Those are things that start to be able to help you with confidence so much more when you are able to know who you are, how you help people, and what you actually do as well. And I know that's not new. I know that everybody in this room knows that, but it's also just to bring in some more of you into it. So that can be, take it away if you want, to write it down and take it away and do some homework, tonight, later on if you want, or this week. So that's our confidence and clarity. So then we come to communication, and I really just want to, because I will need to wrap up, but it's really then to think about your confidence of you, the clarity of you in your business, is then where is your opportunities to actually start to use them? Do you look for opportunities every single day? And what I mean by that is that you're not delegating them to other types of platforms, formats, that you're actually coming to events. You are maybe doing videos. How many in here do videos on social media? Ooh, we can have a little bit more people doing videos on here. So it's really about, we want to be able to have the communications, looking at what areas that you're doing that you're being seen and you're being heard, and people can actually get to see you and hear you as well. Because know, like, and trust is built on people being able to hear you, to see you, to hear what you speak about, all of those things. So I'm a massive advocate for videos, absolutely. So think about different opportunities you have to practice it and do the communication as well, because the more you practice, the more confident you will become as well. So, I forgot what slide was next. So what I want to share with you as well is we are doing sales, so I'm going to share something with you. Is that okay? See if it's something for you or not. So out of all this, these are the types of things that I help people to do. So what I want to share with you is my communication community that I have, and what I want to share with you as well, and it's exclusively for tonight as part of it. So my communication community is built on the confidence, the communication, the clarity, the speaking, boundaries, respect, all of those things. And as part of the community, I run live training sessions every single week. There's a Facebook group to be able to participate in. There's a member platform as well with a wealth of content. I run monthly Zoom sessions as well with everybody inside the community to be able to do those things. But as part of the community, you get then discounts for any upcoming workshops, group programs, coaching with me as well. So being a part of that, you get so much more out of it as well. But you get to be able to have the accountability, have the consistency, but having it one step at a time to be able to work on one thing every single week. So I'm a big one for one thing, not everything. Let's do one thing at a time. So being able to do that at a smaller pace. So exclusively for the LinkedIn local people that you're here, or online, then I have a special offer of joining by Sunday is $47 a month, or for the annual fee of $447 as well. So there is a sheet on your table to leave your details. If you are interested, then leave that there, and I can send you some more information as well. There should be a sheet on there, I think so. But to end it as well, it's particularly around confidence, is that believe in yourself is the first thing. So I want you to really fully believe in yourself, and remember that you cannot delegate communication, and it's time to be able to step up, step out, and lead yourself and be fully authentic and embrace yourself. Thank you so much for having me, and I hope that this has been really helpful for you as well. Thank you.